My name is Diamyn. I'm a leadership coach here at IMG Academy. When I was 16, started playing the game of baseball. Before that, I played football, played basketball, ran track, had a neck injury in football. I was one of the top running backs in the country, dove head first for a loose fumble, and I was paralyzed from my neck down. Remember it like it was yesterday. They came and got me, put me on a stretcher, and took me to the ambulance, took me to the hospital. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is it. Like, not going to be able to play the game that I love anymore. Put so much time, so much effort, so much energy into this game, and now it's gone. Luckily, a few days later, I got my feeling back, so it was temporary. I remember the doctor coming in and saying, you know, we've got good news for you, we got bad news for you. Bad news is you can't play the game of football anymore. The good news is you're walking. And so they did the MRI, all the tests, and they said I had congenital stenosis, which is narrowing of fluid. It's narrowing of fluid in your spine, and didn't know I had it until that moment. So for me, for that 2-3 week time span, didn't know what I was going to do anymore because I had invested everything into the game of football. So knew that I still needed to use my gifts in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Picked up the game of baseball. Didn't get cleared to play basketball either. And one of the first books that one of my teammates, I remember, Ryan Barnett, he handed me a book called Heads Up Baseball on the mental side of baseball. And then they gave me a book called 360 Degree Leader by John Maxwell. And that was kind of the entry point to this space and to leadership coaching. From there, I was just hungry for growth, hungry to get better. I had to play catch up with everybody else who would play their whole lives. So for me, those were the edges that I used and that I studied so that I could play catch up. Ended up getting a scholarship to a junior college in Illinois, Lincoln Trail Community College, and then from there went to a Division I down south, Grambling State University. And my junior year there was draft year on the draft board. I tore my ACL. And another devastating piece of adversity that I had to face. Went back home, did surgery with the Reds, with Krimchak, got bigger, faster, stronger, and came back, just didn't hit up to the expectations. I was trying to do too much with my swing, et cetera, et cetera. Wish I had a coach like JFG here to keep me grounded in the mechanics and everything, but that wasn't the case. So I ended up finishing off my career at Georgia Southwestern State University. And then after that, got connected with Jeff Mercer, who's now the head coach at Indiana University. And at that time, he was the head coach at Wright State. And he was like, hey, let's do something that's never been done before. Let's bring you on staff as the first mental skills coordinator to ever be a part of a Division I staff. It's going to be innovative. It's going to be disruptive. But let's do it because I want our guys to win a championship. I want our guys to become better men. I want our guys to be able to master this side of the game. So we did that. Next year, moved up as a director of peak performance there in mental conditioning. And then I got this itch to touch into the entrepreneurial space because everything that we were doing there, I was like, look, I've got to get this out to everybody else around the world. So created a book, created an online course, started doing one-on-one sessions with a lot of pro guys, a lot of college guys around the world, and really built my skill set and got better as a coach. And then, luckily, when I had the itch to get back in the trenches because of my need to and my desire to develop, my desire to coach and to see guys grow over a course of time, connected with Taryn Morgan here, and this opportunity opened itself up, and here we are. So the reason why I do what I do, I think it's pretty simple. It's to impact our guys' lives in a positive way through leadership training. Not just so they can be successful here, but also at the next level that they go to. Leadership is going to be relevant in every stage of our lives, right? So if they can master and start working on these skills now, these self-leadership skills and relational and vocal leadership skills now, it's going to help them throughout the course of life. And for me as a coach, I want to see them succeed in every area of life.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
I appreciate you.
Okay. Okay. Briefly describe leadership coaching and training at IMG Academy. I touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess if you were to say on paper, what?
Yeah.
Why is it different? And how do baseball and just how have you seen students, and you can touch on baseball too.
Yeah.
How have you seen kids take advantage of it here?
Absolutely. I think that the big thing that makes the leadership training different here is that we use sport as the vehicle to teach the leadership skills that we teach, to teach self-leadership skills, to teach vocal leadership skills, so that they can translate off of the field too. And I mean, when you look around at at the high school level, even at the college and professional level, you don't have dedicated leadership coaches who are there on the field with them. And integrated inside of the coaching staff and inside of the team, consistently coaching them up on opportunities to lead. It's just not something that's being done right now. I think when I really take a step back and I look at what we do, we're at the forefront of innovation with it. These are skills that people don't really learn until they get promoted when they're 25, 26, 27, and they get promoted to a manager or a leadership role. And they're like, oh, I've got to learn these skills. So we're kind of tackling that 10 years beforehand, and teaching these skills now through sport so that they can be successful in every other area of life.
Awesome. Okay, so on that note,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about day to day. So go into how it's actually regimented.
Yeah, so we've got five different modalities in which we coach leadership. So we've got our workshops, where they're 30 minutes to an hour. We get sometimes big groups, sometimes small groups, and we focus on a specific leadership skill that we want to develop. And then we've got the live coaching, which really separates us. Live coaching in practice, live coaching in games, where we're actually integrated out there on the field with them, identifying meaningful opportunities for them to lead, and then nudging them to go and actually execute that leadership opportunity, and then debriefing the opportunity with them so that they can actually put the leadership skills into practice and get reps. The biggest and the most impactful modality in which we coach leadership is the one-on-one coaching. I think, when you build enough trust with a guy, and he wants to get better and improve, and he's hungry to grow his leadership skills. I mean, sometimes we do one-on-one sessions that last anywhere between 30 minutes and 2 hours, just honing in on specific skills that they want to get better with. And so I would say that's the big separator. And then we also do coaches consultations as well, for our coaches who want to improve their leadership skills, who want to do culture design, who want to learn how they can be a better leader for their guys, for their coaching staff, for their kids. So those are the 5 ways we coach leadership, which ultimately makes us different, and it gives us an opportunity to create a positive impact with our guys over and over and over again.
You touched on culture design.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely.
If the layperson had no idea.
Yeah. So culture is made up of a few things. It's made up of what you think, say, and do. We just had Kirby Smart come in yesterday, and he talked about what it takes to build a championship culture and how they go about doing that. And culture is something that people know exists, but when you actually envision what you want your culture to look like with the group of people who you lead, it gives you an opportunity to create the messaging, create the development process, create the coaching process, and center it around that. For us, with our national guys, everything was built around, how do we develop a championship culture? Turge is our national head coach, Dave Turgeon. He's one of the best in the world, one of the best I've ever seen, and one of the best I've had the opportunity to coach under when it comes to understanding culture design, when it comes to understanding leadership, how to get guys on board, how to leverage our leaders on the team to make sure they're reinforcing the standards that we have. So that's how I would describe culture.
So what do you say since your time here?
Yeah.
What would you say has been your accomplishments, whether that's been day to day or obviously we try to accomplish things every single day.
Yeah. We're talking about our national team, or we're talking about in general?
Talk about the national team.
Yeah. I would say the accomplishments we've seen with our national team is the growth and progress. I mean, the reason why I coach, the reason why our coaches coach, The reason why we're all here is to help these guys develop and get better and improve so that they can become the best versions of themselves and win their future, not just here at the academy, but at the next endeavor they step inside of. And so when you have a guy who starts off at point A, and at the end of the season you see him at point B, at a very different place than he was before, I would say for every coach that would be their answer to this question is that's the accomplishment, seeing these guys grow, seeing them put the information that you've shared with them into action and turn those skills into real habits that not just impact them in a positive way, but that impact their teammates in a positive way too.
Awesome. How did you get involved in the baseball program? You came here as a leadership coach, right?
Yeah.
Maybe like not really knowing what sport you were going to work with, or if I have that wrong, but how did you get involved with the baseball program and the national team?
So at the beginning of every semester, we're assigned, as leadership coaches, we're assigned sports that we're going to work with. For me, having a baseball background, I think it was in the plan for me to work with our baseball program when it came to the national team. It's just building relationships, building trust, being a trusted advisor to our coaches, being a trusted advisor to our seniors, our juniors, the younger guys, and giving them, number one, building the trust. Number two, giving them the understanding of how much I care. Number three, actually giving them practical information from a leadership standpoint that they can actually use and put into practice and see results with. So I would say it was just a combination of those things, continuing to build relationships, showing up every day with positive energy, diving into the one-on-one sessions when guys wanted to do that, giving them the best information possible through all of the experiences that I've been through everything I've learned, through the research, and continuously challenging them and pushing them outside of their comfort zone to grow.
Okay, so like there's that first base coach dynamic. Like, is that something you kind of talked yourself into doing, or like did Turge ask you to do that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that dynamic like? And like obviously the team, like Tampa Jesuit, has no idea that you're the leadership coach, and you might be giving them some sort of information based off that last MP or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So how does that dynamic kind of work?
So it started, I mean, that's Turge's genius. I mean, he just understands the game so well. He understands holistic development. He understands how to tackle a specific problem and problem solve and get everybody on board and move the pieces on the chessboard so that things work out to our advantage in the best way they possibly can. So that's Turge's genius there when it comes to the first base coach idea. And it was a pretty big responsibility too. And I think my favorite part about it was being able to be integrated. It's something that again puts us at the forefront of innovation when it comes to leadership coaching. When you look across the board, you don't have at other high schools leadership coaches, let alone a leadership coach who's integrated inside of the team who's coaching first base. So I think all the credit goes to Turge there, and I think it played a small role in helping those guys grow on a day-to-day basis.
Hey, let's stay behind him in here, boys. Let's stay behind him in here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Go, boys. Hey, need everything. Need everything. All right, hey, Cruz, a lot of energy in here. Let's go, Z. Start us off, baby. There he is. How are you? Doing good?
Oh!
No way.
Oh,
No way.
shit.
No way. Does that mean it's just lightning again?
God
No
damn
way.
it. We ain't gonna keep
No
on going on and off like this, are we?
Freaking way.
Man,
I hope not. How have you been, though? You been good?
otherwise good.
Yeah. Today is wild. We've talked about all year. We've talked about collectively pushing through adversity. Last game of the year for us. This is the adversity we've got to push through.
Yeah.
Still be able to come out on top after all of this. Have to.
Yeah.
Start, stop, start, stop.
Mental strength.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So you look at
Yeah.
the national program, what are some distinct differences that you
Yeah.
can kind of articulate coaching athletes of that caliber versus
Yeah.
maybe somebody, a youth athlete or middle school athlete who has maybe no foundation into
Yeah.
leadership? Obviously you build that foundation, but what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think about it from a LTAD model standpoint. That's the long-term athlete development model. You know, guys who are younger, or middle school guys, are JV guys. You know, they're still learning the basics of leadership. With our national team, what the difference is the curriculum design. I mean, everything we do is based on championship everything. So championship communication, championship culture, championship empowerment, championship encouragement, championship humility. They're the same concepts, but when you put championship at the beginning of it, that's what changes it for those guys, because that's what we're on the hunt for. It's to win a national championship, and it's to turn them into championship leaders, championship teammates, and championship people. And I also think that with that comes some challenges. Some guys, this is their first time competing for a national championship. And when you put it in a perspective, I mean, out of 13,000 high schools, we've got to find a way to be at the top. So it's a very different conversation. It's a very different way of preparing the leadership conversations, the leadership workshops, the leadership one-on-one sessions, the live coaching. It looks very different than some of our other groups.
So on that note, kind of you look at a first-year student versus I'm thinking like a Zion versus Stone kind of situation, or a Cam versus Stone situation, where Stone like never had that experience at a regular high school, if you will.
Yeah.
Why would somebody who's already excelling at a regular high school, who's already committed, like Zion's a good example of that, like he's already committed, and I asked him the same question, like what did you see here? Why would a kid come here over staying somewhere and being the man, like, if you will?
I think because of the resources that we have. We've got state-of-the-art resources. We've got the best departments. We've got a nutrition department, athletic training. We've got strength and conditioning. I mean, all high level coaches. We've got mental conditioning. We've got leadership training. We've got sports science. We've got things that other places don't have like that are the biggest difference maker. And so, to that kid who's thinking about making that leap, the biggest difference here is you're going to have the resources to actually take you to the next level. You're going to have coaches who are going to take you and going to push you and going to challenge you outside of your comfort zone to get to that next level in each one of those categories. And you've also got people who truly care about your development, who care about you as a person here. All of our coaches, they want to see every single one of our kids succeed on the field and off the field, and I think that's what separates us as well.
Okay, so we can kind of segue into the individual guys.
Yeah.
So this will be based off just this past season.
Yeah.
So if you can go into a little short positive leadership / developmental anecdote, if you can hit on from your department, and then maybe like anything you've seen from a baseball world, baseball realm, and how they've grown and developed. Start with Stone Russell. So how have you seen each guy grow since you've met them, both as a player and a leader?
Stone Russell. I remember when I first got here, he was, and he still is, he's analytical. He's very observant. He wants to get things right. And he was really reserved when I first got here. He was a great leader by example. His leading by example skills, his self-leadership skills were on point. Where he's grown and where he's come out of his shell is the vocal leadership piece. We had a trip to Puerto Rico this year, and the drinking age is, I don't know if you can use this or not, but the drinking age there is 18. And he was so aware of the situation that he called a players only meeting. And he addressed that to the team, because one of the things that Turgeon, our national head coach, talks about a lot is it's going to take all of everybody to make this thing happen, to make this thing work, to achieve our vision, to achieve our goal. And so him as a leader, that's something he wouldn't have done 365 days ago, but him stepping into that vocal leadership role this year, he called a players only meeting. He nipped it in the bud. And that was just an example of so many other things that he did. I mean, he had a lot of micro vocal leadership moments this year that added up and that helped our team get to where we got to. I mean, pregame speeches, postgame speeches, addressing things that needed to be addressed, holding other guys accountable during practice, during games, when they weren't upholding the standards, the team standards, the championship standards that we had set at the beginning of the year. But his growth, I would say, has been in the vocal leadership space, and it's been special to see.
Every single guy talked about, I don't know if you were there or present for this, but every single guy talked about, aside from him, talked about his speech after they lost in the preseason. If you can talk a little bit about like how you think that impacted, like you can speak on that exact moment.
Yeah.
How you think.
On the bus?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a special leadership moment. That was a special vocal leadership moment, because you have to have a lot of social awareness. You've got to have a lot of social intelligence. Then you have to articulate the message in a way to where it resonates with everybody in the group. And to see him do that, it was a special moment to see, because it showed the growth in him as a person and as a leader, and how much he cared and how all in he was, with this team. And I remember Turgeon and I looking at each other after that, and we're like, that's what we want. There it is. But it takes a special person to be able to do that, because sometimes it's easy to sit back in those moments and not say anything. But him knowing that this is his last year, senior year, he cares about his team. He's been here for a long time. He's grown his leadership skills. He's grown his skills in the game of baseball. He's become a better person. That was something special to see.
All right, let's talk about Zion.
Yeah.
Same thing, same idea.
Zion, determined, confident, incredibly competitive, and very hungry to learn, very hungry to grow. A story to share Zion's hunger for growth when it comes to the leadership conversation, when it comes to becoming a better teammate, a better person. So Nick Phelps and myself, we collaborated at the beginning of the year to create a media training for our top guys, for our draft guys. And after that, we opened up the opportunity. It took like 30 minutes. We did it in the Pinnacle room. After that, we gave them the opportunity to do one-on-one sessions based on things they wanted to work on when it came to the media training piece. And Z was the first guy to reach out, Coach, I got to get better with this, this, and this. And did like 4 or 5 one-on-one sessions, and all of them were focused on studying Kobe Bryant, somebody who he looks up to in the game of basketball, and how he articulates and how his growth looked over a course of time, where he was when he was 18, Zion's age, and where he was towards the end of his career. And he studied and studied and studied, and I remember he did an interview on MLB Network, and afterwards we were texting about it, and he said, I felt confident in my words, I felt good. But it's those little micro moments that they're growing, that they're getting better. For him, I mean, he was also a guy who stepped up in vocal leadership moments, being able to notice when our energy was down in the dugout, but then having the courage to come back in the dugout and say, hey, we got to get our energy up. We know that contributes to our team's success. We've got to get our energy up. We've got to be more enthusiastic. We've got to stay focused on our guys, just relaying the messages that you want to hear vocal leaders relay. And this was his first year here. And so having his humility, but at the same time the courage and the bravery to be able to do that in those moments was also special to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A little bit on so he's a catcher.
Yeah. Captain of the field.
Right. How did you expect him to be a leader at first, or in that position, just knowing baseball, like any baseball knowledge you have on that, what was kind of expected there from the start?
I think Turge set the standard from the beginning that you know, anybody who's going to be our catcher, they've got to have pretty solid leadership skills, vocal leadership skills, leading by example skills, self-leadership skills, and I think he set the standard from the very beginning there, and it was cool to see Zion's growth through that process. You know, when you get new guys that come in, sometimes you just don't know. You know, if they're going to buy in, if they're not going to buy in, where their leadership skills are going to be, where they're not going to be, until you get to observe them, until you get to evaluate them. You know, those first few weeks. But after those first few weeks, watching them work and seeing how hungry it was to grow and get better, you know, doing catching work with JR, Stone's dad, doing catching work with our catching coordinator at the time, being in the cages with JFG, doing extra work with all the people he needed to do extra work with, I knew that he was going to be a special contribution. I think everybody knew he was going to be a special contribution to the group, from a leadership standpoint, from a teamwork standpoint, from a character standpoint.
Awesome. All right, pitchers. Jay.
Yeah, Jay Woo. Oh man, special bond there. Jay Woo is one of the most supportive, kind-hearted people I've ever come across, and I would say his growth has been continuing to expand on those strengths that he has. He's the kind of guy, and I remember, I forget what game it was, but he's the kind of guy who will notice after somebody strikes out, this guy is frustrated. He's coming back to the dugout. This guy in the past has thrown his helmet, et cetera, gets really frustrated. That was a big moment, he just struck out. He's the kind of guy who will think about that, see it, so supportive, so caring, so empathetic, that he'll go and grab the helmet off of that guy before he gets back in the dugout and has an opportunity to do something but that's how Jay Woo is. Every time you see him, he's got a smile on his face, calm, cool, collected, special human being. Can't wait to see where he goes.
He talked to us about how he did not know English when he first got
Yeah.
there, and I was like, I would not be able to tell that. Like, so you talked a little about
Yeah.
personal leadership. Like,
Yeah.
Are there any traits that
Yeah.
he obviously shared? Like, he talked about being in the airport for like 2 hours waiting for somebody so he can understand.
Yep.
Like, how does a kid do that?
Discipline. I would say that's the self-leadership skill that he probably allowed him to. Discipline, perseverance, and the willingness to step outside of his comfort zone and get better with those kind of things. That's a big leap. It's a tough thing to do, learn a whole nother language. But for him to execute it in the way that he did and see where he is now, I mean, it's like second nature to him. Special to see. Cam Johnson. Puts a smile on my face every time we see each other, every time we have an interaction. He's outgoing. He's enthusiastic. He's always bringing optimistic energy and positivity to every single thing that we do. Also, he's a guy who can light up any room that you put him into. Always making people laugh. Always has a smile on his face, no matter what. And you know, you need those kind of guys to balance out the dynamics of the group, and that's what he did this year. I remember the first time I met him in the fall, and we had an interaction here and there. And I remember telling him at the end of that day, like, bro, we're gonna have a lot of fun this year. And then he'll tell you about that. He'll tell you about that interaction. But we did. And it's because he was so consistent with the energy that he brought, with the optimism, with the enthusiasm, with the humor that he brought to the things that we did.
So, kind of culminating everything, how does the part that you play with individual athletes contribute to an overall team result?
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it, but
I think leadership coaching definitely plays a significant role. But at the same time, I do believe, Turgeon and I were having a conversation the other day on the phone, and we were reflecting on the year, and he was like, D, it took all of us. It took every single last one of us to get where we got to this year, and I truly believe that. I think that leadership it can play a pretty decent role, but I do believe that it takes all of everybody to make it work, to make it happen, and it takes everybody being all in and tackling things from different angles. which Turge is, he's a mastermind at that. He'll see something that needs to be improved on with a guy, and then we'll have a conversation about it, and he'll have me tackle it from a different angle. He'll go and have a conversation with Roger, our outfield coach, Daniel, have him tackle it in a different angle, have a conversation with Steve Fry, have him tackle that same problem from a different angle, deliver the messages in different ways to our guys so that they get what we're trying to convey when it comes to the culture that he set for us. So my answer to that is it takes all of everybody to make anything work. And luckily here, everybody was bought into the to the leadership process, and Turge has empowered me to get better, and he's also challenged me to get better through the opportunities that he's presented me with to work with our guys on a day-to-day basis. So I think the answer to that is it takes all of us, and Turge played a huge role in that.
Going into the like a leadership mentality surrounding getting to a national championship level possibility. Like I know there, MaxPreps is going to come out with if we are or we aren't.
Yep.
So like, is there anything that you would say to the guys after that if we aren't or if we are?
Turge and I talked about this the other day too. We did everything within our control to give it our best shot every single day, every single practice, every single rep, every single game, in order to win a national championship, in order to be at the number one spot. So whatever happens from here on out is totally outside of our control. We did what we were supposed to do every day. And if you put it into context, every day for us was a championship. Every day was a championship day. Every practice, it had to be a championship practice. Every time we were in the cages, it had to be championship time in the cages. Every time we had any interactions, they had to be championship interactions, because we don't get the opportunity to play in playoffs. So we knew what we were up against from the beginning. We knew that we had to do things differently, and we did everything within our control to put ourselves in a position to hopefully win a national championship. If we don't win a national championship, we still put ourselves in a position to grow as leaders, to grow as teammates, to grow as a team, to become a family. We gave them everything that we had as coaches from a development standpoint, so that they can become the best men that they can possibly be. So either way you look at it, there were still a lot of wins in this year.
Obviously, you've been talking about championship.
Yeah.
Is that the word of the year for the team? And if it is, go into that.
I remember after last year, Turge and I were texting back and forth, and I think he texted me and he said, "Hey, winning a national championship next year, it starts today." That was literally 365 days ago. And from that moment forward, that was, part of the process. It's like, hey, let's put championship at the beginning of everything that we do. How do we have a championship practice? How do we have championship reps? How do we have championship communication? I mean, Turge is really, really good especially with the communication piece, and talking about championship communication, like understanding each guy's disc style, understanding their communication style, understanding their love languages. Is this a physical touch guy? Is this a words of affirmation guy? Is this an acts of service guy? If so, every interaction that we have, it has to be, it has to be based around that. So everything that we did was to develop our guys and to make sure we design the culture around how do we win a national championship. The word of the year, I would say, was probably family. And championship was used a lot, but the family one too. Going off of that, you see us break down multiple times a day, multiple times a game, before the game, after the game, in the cages, during practices, before practice, after practice, and we're saying family. And I can say that this year, this is one of the closest groups that I've ever seen. And that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. It truly was a family. And so when you think about the shared adversity that we went through this year, there's a chemical in your brain that releases every time you experience love, every time you experience connection, every time you experience trust with somebody. And that same chemical is released when a group of people experience shared adversity. It's called Oxytocin. And so when you look at the micro adversities that we overcame and that we persevered through this year, there's a lot of oxytocin released and a lot of coming together that happened. Through that, we truly became a family. So I would say that was probably, family was probably the word of the year. And we're going to have a bond. All of us are going to have a bond that that's going to last forever.
Going to that next level piece a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Like Darnell just called. Like, let's talk about.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question.
Talk about resources.
Yeah.
Whether it's MLB or D3.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want for them at the next level, and how can you be of assistance?
Yeah. So I think one mistake that other coaches may make is they end the relationship after they leave IMG. For me, I'm always honing in with our guys like I'm going to be here with you for the rest of your life. No matter if you step inside of an MLB clubhouse, no matter if you're about to go to Arkansas, LSU, Ole Miss, no matter if you're going to go to a JUCO, even if you're not going to play baseball, when you finish here, like I'm still going to be here for you. I'm still going to be one phone call away. And I think letting them know that and then really following through with that. You know, I called and checked in on EJ the other day. Darnell, just had a conversation with him before this interview. And those relationships that you build with the guys, it's truly from a place of wanting to see them win inside of the game of life, wanting to see them win inside of the game of leadership, inside of the game of becoming a great teammate. Because I know as a leadership coach, it's always going to be a thing for the rest of our lives. Leadership will always be relevant. One day they're going to have to lead inside of their relationship with their spouse, inside of their relationships with their kids, inside of their immediate family. Some of these kids, they're going to grow up and they're going to be CEOs of big companies. They're going to be directors. They're going to be VPs. They're going to be, some of them may be a leadership coach. Some of them may be head coaches. Some of them may be assistant coaches. But in all of those things that I just named, those roles, you got to have some leadership skills that are going to allow you to succeed in those roles as a person, as a teammate, and as a human being. So for me, it's keeping the relationship going after they leave here, no matter what.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like anything on those specific sessions, like if you want to talk about what that session was.
Yeah.
In any way. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the last leadership session that we did was to kind of cap off the year. And we focused on reflection and reflecting on the self-leadership skills that they grew in and the relational leadership skills that they grew in. So self-leadership skills are the skills that govern your relationship with yourself. Relational leadership skills are the skills that govern your relationship with other people. And so we took kind of, there are about 10 to 15 skills in each category. And I had them reflect on, hey, like what are the top 3 skills that you really improved with in the self-leadership skills category? Now, what are the top 3 that you want to improve with over these next 365 days? Same thing with the relational leadership category. Top 3 that you got better with, top 3 that you want to improve with over the next 365 days. My favorite part about that workshop, and always in those workshops, especially when we do big group workshops, is when our older guys, there's always an opportunity to share. They stand up and they share what they want to improve on. And that last workshop, I remember Cam standing up, sharing what he felt like he improved on and wanted to improve on. Same thing with Zion. And you've got to celebrate those guys. You've got to acknowledge and give credit where it's due, because those guys, even in those moments, they don't even realize it sometimes. I know Zion and we've talked about it in the past, but when they stand up and they share, they're exemplifying leading by example and vocal leadership. Just saying, hey, coach, here's where I feel like I've gotten better. Here's where I want to improve. And while they're standing, we have a conversation about it. And the guys who are going to be our leaders next year are sitting down looking at these guys like that's what they're looking up to, because these guys are about to leave. And next year, some of our juniors, specifically with our national team, it's going to be their opportunity to stand up. To be vulnerable, to hold other guys accountable, to team standards, to be vocal leaders. And so when I think about that workshop, my favorite part about those are when our leaders stand up and they share what's on their mind and they get vulnerable. It's a time to connect, it's a time to grow, it's a time to get better, it's a time to think about, okay, after this workshop, within the next 24 hours, how can I put, these leadership skills into practice so it sticks with me?
Together. Inhale. Exhale. Good job. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your eyes closed. The question I want you to ask yourself today is, how do you want to show up over these next 30 minutes? Today's our last leadership session together. You guys did a fantastic job this year, every single last one of you. When it comes to growing, when it came to growing yourself as a leader, when it came to becoming a better teammate, when it came to becoming a better person, you guys have done a fantastic job. Now let's finish this leadership game, this leadership conversation strong. So my question to you is, don't say it out loud, but think it in your mind. What's one word that comes up for you when it comes to how you want to show up today? Do you want to show up focused? Do you want to show up positive? Do you want to show up respectful? Maybe you want to show up ready to learn something new. For you, how do you want to show up over these next 30 minutes? Great leaders, they set the intention with everything that they do, how they want to show up. Because they know if they set the intention, the probability of showing up that way shoots through the roof. And that's what I want for us today. Remember at the beginning of this year, I told you, this was the Jordan year, 2023, which means this was an opportunity. This year was an opportunity for you to become the best version of yourself that you could possibly be as a leader, as a teammate, as a person. And by God, you guys have done a fantastic job of that. Proud of each and every last one of you. So again, let's finish strong. What's the word that comes up for you? Inhale. Exhale. In a few seconds, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. When you open your eyes, I want you to look to the person next to you and share with him how you are going to show up today as a leader over these next 30 minutes. 3, 2, 1, open your eyes. Look to the person next to you, share, 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 go, go, go. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on looking at where you've grown as a leader. I want to create a space for all of us to do something that we typically don't do, which is take a step back, take a deep breath, and congratulate yourself for how much you've grown, specifically with the skills that are in front of you. So, I'm going to give us 5 minutes. I want you to put a star next to all of the things that you've improved with when it comes to your self-leadership skills. Real quick before you go, eye contact up here. When it comes to this conversation of leadership, we've got 2 sets of leadership skills. We've got our self-leadership skills, the skills that govern our relationship with ourselves, and they are our ability to lead others exceptionally well. Lead ourselves exceptionally well. And then you've got your relational skills, which are on the second page, that govern your relationship with other people. These are the skills that help you become a great teammate. They help you become the best version of yourself when it comes to leading other people, which is what we always talk about doing. That's what creates a championship culture. That's what creates a fantastic culture. That's what creates a culture that allows you to grow. And some of you are going to be stepping inside of programs next year. Some of you are going to get drafted. Some of you are going inside of Division I programs, Division II programs, Division III programs. Others of you are going to come back here, but you guys will be setting the tone when it comes to how you contribute to that specific culture based on these skills that are in front of you right now. So, analyze those skills that are there, and I want you to put an I next to the ones that you know in order to become the best version of yourself as a leader when it comes to self-leadership. Coach Diamyn, I've got to improve with these. After you've completed that process, then I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write that letter to yourself. Now, here's what I want us to think about as we write the letter to ourselves. Eye contact. Very seldom do we get the opportunity to have conversations with ourselves intentionally. It's a very powerful process, and when you do it the right way, you give yourself some encouragement. What you'll find is that this can be an emotional process. I walked another group through this process a few weeks ago. A few guys broke down. Asked them why they broke down. They said, Coach, I never get the opportunity to really think about the areas I've grown, let alone write myself words of encouragement and words of celebration for where I've gotten to. I was like, wow. Everybody in the room kind of felt it. It was a powerful thing. And I reminded them, just like I'm going to remind you today, you deserve it. You deserve the space to recognize the great work that you've put in this year. You deserve the space to recognize the skills that you've improved with this year. With that being said, I really want you to go in with this. If you get real, if you get raw with yourself, if you focus on the relevancy that this has within your life, within your game right now, I promise you, this exercise can change your life for the rest of your life, if you're willing to go all in. Sound good? Reflection is the key to acceleration. When you reflect, you unlock this power within to accelerate forward. That's what we're doing today. Make sure you choose those top 3 that you've grown a lot in. And make sure you really focus on the 3 that you know you need to improve on too. Maybe for you, one of the things you've got to improve on is being more accountable. Being more accountable for your actions. Maybe for you, something that you need to improve on is the effort that you put in every single day. Maybe for you, it's hard work. What is it for you? What are the areas you've grown in? What are the areas you need to improve on? Doing great, gents.
That one?
Oh, my bad. Oh, this one.
I ain't even gonna lie there yet.
Good job, Mossy. You guys doing good back here? Crushing it. I like it. I like it. I like to see it. You're doing good. A few more minutes left. When you feel like you get stuck, when you feel like your pen is stopping, I want you to just keep writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. I just want you to keep going. 5, 4, 3. Give yourselves a round of applause for completing that process. Next run of show. I'm about to have you guys partner up and share with your partner the 3 things that you've grown in and the 3 things that you want to improve on. For some of you, it's going to be the summer. For some of you, it's going to be at the next place that you're going to. For others of you, it's going to be the clubhouse that you're going to step inside of after the draft. But I want you to share why those things will be important for you to improve. As you're listening to the other guy, give him eye contact. Be curious to what he's saying. As you're sharing, stand and speak with confidence and conviction. These are the things you're taking ownership of that you've gotten better with and that you're going to commit to improve over these next few months. You guys ready? Partner up. Go, 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 go. Share, 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 share. One of the things that we do is we have these guys partner share. And as you can see, when they partner share, what they're doing is they're sharing their experience and the skills that they've improved on when it comes to leadership and the skills they want to improve on in the future. And when you do this inside of a big group like this, what it creates is a sense of vocal accountability. Whenever we create a goal or we set an intention and we share it with somebody else and we verbalize it, it puts us in a position for us to have to stay accountable to it because we verbalize it to one of our teammates, to one of our peers. And in a few seconds, you'll see some of these guys share some powerful stuff. There's something powerful about when you share what your goals are with other people, with your peers, inside of the conversation of leadership. When you do that, you put yourself in a position to where they can hold you accountable. And since you've verbalized it, you've taken full ownership of it from a verbal standpoint, and it raises the probability of them actually taking action and putting these behaviors into practice.
What? If we went 25-0, you said it, we have to say Jesus.
I had to say what? No, I did not. No.
Yes,
And this is also what happens when some of our guys try to make stuff up so they can see Coach Diamyn do some wild stuff. You guys are putting words on my mouth. Hey, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. Give your partner a high five and tell him, good job. Good work. Fantastic work. I want a few guys who are courageous, who are willing to be courageous, to share just a one-on-one conversation with me, your top 3 skills that you improved with, and your top 3 skills that you know that you need to improve with in the future in order to become the best version of yourself. For my guys who are going to share, stand with confidence, share with confidence. For my other guys who are in the audience, as they share, give them eye contact, give them respect. On you.
On this year,
Yep.
for like 6 games, was like going out of my comfort zone. I thought I did really well on that. Just stepping out of my comfortable box.
Yeah.
And, another thing was betting on myself.
Yeah.
I feel like I did a better job on that too.
Absolutely.
Communicating, whether it was on the field or off the field, just getting everyone together.
Yeah.
Being a family instead of a team. So.
Absolutely. Round of applause for this. Two clubs. Up next.
So I would say the 3 that I've done the best on were positivity,
Yeah.
coming to list, coming to games, being positive. I'd say I feel it around.
Yeah.
Resilience, coming back from setbacks, especially coming to this state.
Yeah.
And then curiosity, desire to learn and understand things.
Absolutely.
Coming in fresh eyes. And then the 3 that I feel like I need to improve on is focus, being courageous, and then curiosity still.
Mm.
So
Abs-
we can always improve on curiosity.
Absolutely. Great job. Round of applause. Round of applause. Two clubs. Last.
To work on, and I thought I really finished that or closed the gap at the end of the year.
Yeah. Good job. I think one of the things, to your point, one of the things about being a great leader and becoming a great leader is understanding that when we experience adversity and we're working inside of a group or working inside of a team and we care about the guys next to us, there's power that comes with encouraging the guys who are next to you, even when you aren't experiencing the results that you want to be experiencing in the moment, right? And so a lot of you are going to face that in the future. And I want you to take this in. That's what will define you as a leader. How you treat other people and how you choose to encourage and how you choose to push people to their goals as you're still facing adversity. Like sometimes when we face adversity, we just want to stay to ourselves, want to close in. But I'll have you consider the possibility that when you face adversity as a leader, the most powerful thing that you can do in that moment is choose to encourage your teammates, choose to encourage the people who you're working with. And by the way, this is something that's going to last you for the rest of your life. Like this is not just in the game of baseball, this is inside of the game of life. Fantastic job. Round of applause. Two clubs.
I would say just encouraging, giving confidence, support.
Yeah.
To other people.
Absolutely.
I would just say, being patient and realizing that you're not going to be the best every single day.
Yeah.
You have to overcome adversity and, but still being yourself at the same
Yeah.
time. And I've said, just being unselfish.
Yeah.
Just putting other people's performance.
Yeah.
It's about a team effort. And now I'd say what I'm good at right now, I think in caring, just knowing how the person is and just showing with empathy
Yeah.
for the other person.
Yeah.
And being trustworthy and
Yeah.
relying on others.
Yeah.
Knowing that they can get the job done as well.
Yeah.
And then I said trustworthy and being reliable to myself too.
Absolutely. And one thing before we give you a round of applause, one thing for you too. We experienced adversity this year. We experienced some adversity this year. And I want to recognize you too, for still showing up and being a vocal leader and still encouraging your teammates during those times when you were facing adversity. Because there's something special about that. There's something special that comes with experiencing adversity inside of your own world and still showing up in a positive way, still having humorous moments, still encouraging your teammates when they do something well. There's something special about that. That's going to last you forever. Great job. Round of applause.
Like the rest of the game, just being patient, waiting for things to come.
Yeah.
Being appreciative for where I'm at. A lot of kids aren't getting the opportunity we're getting here, so.
Yeah, it's true.
That, this is a lifetime opportunity.
Yep.
And then I really became unselfish in the batter's box, not trying to play hero ball, just doing what the situation required to do.
Yeah.
I could prove on being more encouraging to my teammates and
Yeah.
showing support even through hard times. Being more empathetic.
Empathetic, yep. Good job.
Empathetic and understanding their feelings, not trying to combat their feelings with negative opinions, just understanding where they are and trying to help them.
Yeah.
And just being more honest with myself and others.
Absolutely.
Like being real no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if it's hard.
That's big. Want to celebrate you too for all of the work that you've put in this year when it comes to the conversation in the game of leadership. Your leadership potential is through the roof. Keep working at it. Specifically, when you encourage others and you choose to encourage others, how many of you, when you're encouraged by one of your teammates, it makes you feel good inside? Raise your hand. When one of your teammates encourages you. Hands down. There's power in it. Master that one. I want that to be the goal for you, to master that one over these next 365 days. You got me? Round of applause for this. Too close! Talk to me, Z.
The first thing I said that I improved on this year, I think, is encouraging.
Yeah.
I think after that one leadership session we had right before the season, you were talking about how we want to be better than ourselves from the day before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like helping our teammates grow.
Yeah.
And I think that really just like set me off to help me to, encourage the people around me.
Yeah.
As well as encouraging myself. So
Yeah.
I think I got way better on that this year. Coming into the season,
Yeah.
caring and empathetic kind of went together.
Yeah.
I don't think like I really cared for people's emotions as much
Yeah.
as I should have at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I noticed like when you're in a leadership position, it's very important to like notice that
Yeah.
with others. Like notice how people are down sometimes.
Absolutely.
It might be, messing with their performance. So I
Yeah.
think it's important to realize like, other people's emotions and being able to help encourage them, going back to the encouraging. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good job. Before you sit down, before we give you a round of applause, before we do a 2 claps and a boom, for you, I got the opportunity to watch you grow with those things as a leader, specifically with the empathy game and the caring about other people's emotions game. And forever, for the rest of your life, that's going to be a big thing, specifically inside of your career as a catcher, right? All of my catchers in here, this is for you too. You got to keep tabs on your teammates' thoughts, feelings, and their emotions, and the things that they're experiencing on the field and the things that they're experiencing off the field. That way, you can build the relationship with them, and when you see them going through a tough time, you can go over to them and say, hey, look, I know you're going through this specific thing, the specific piece of adversity, the specific struggle, but I believe in you. You got it. Doing a great job. I believe in you. Those words are some of the most powerful words that you can say to a teammate, to somebody in a clubhouse, to somebody in the locker room as a leader. Because we don't experience it, we don't hear that often. It's one thing to focus on ourselves and our self-leadership skills. That's always good, that's always important. But when it has to do with your teammates, when it has to do with the guy next to you, when it has to do with your peers, when it has to do with other people who you interact with on a day-to-day basis, that's when we take up the seriousness. Because, listen, this whole conversation and this whole game of leadership is truly about relationships. For the rest of you guys' careers, when it comes to the game of baseball, it's always going to be about the relationships that you build and how you interact with other human beings. I'll give you a quick story for this game of life. Always going to be here for you for the rest of your careers, for the rest of your lives. Never hesitate to reach out. Fantastic job this year. Find 10 people in the room and let them know you believe in them. Before you do that, though, let's close out with a little bit of energy. Let's get a bit of this going. 2 clubs! 2 clubs! 2 clubs! Find 10 people, let them know you believe in them. Find 10 people, let them know you believe in them. I believe in you too. Yeah, wow, skibbity. Believe in you, bro. Yup. Love you, bro. Good job this year. Thank you. Yep. Up. Good job today, bro. Yep. So you guys soon.
Like, beginning to halfway, I started getting more.
Yeah.
I started getting better at it.
Yep. You remember when the moment was? The moment was when. Good job today. Absolutely, man. Yep. See you soon, man. Where you can empower this guy. The moment you started to do that, other guys are like, oh, like he's giving me encouragement because they didn't get it often.
Yeah.
Coming from you, it held a lot of weight.
Okay.
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
You're gonna add value to so many other teammates you're gonna have in the future. You're gonna add value to the clubhouse you're about to be a part of. Yeah. Excited for you, man.
Appreciate it.
Keep working, all right?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Love you, bro.
Thank you, Diamyn.
Yep. See you, Wop. Skibbity. See you soon, bro.